All right, we are live. Good evening, Richmond County. My name is Haley LaCuesta. I'm the Director of Media and PR here at the Richmond County School System, and we are here today for yet another virtual town hall event. So we have a few very special guests today. The focus of today's virtual town hall is transportation, really talking about the people who transport our most precious cargo every single day, our bus drivers, our dispatchers, and everybody over at the RCSS Transportation Department. These guys really work hard to make sure that our students are transported safely to school, from school, to different events, and make sure that they have the best learning experience possible every single day. They're usually up way earlier than I am, making sure that roads are safe, that conditions are ready to go, and they are the first person oftentimes that your child sees before they get to school. So we are so appreciative of our bus drivers and our dispatchers, and of course, our leaders over at the central office that deal with transportation every single day. So, if you haven't joined us for a virtual town hall before, here is how it works. I'm going to introduce our guests. We'll go through a brief presentation where they talk about what's new with transportation this year at the Richmond County School System. And then afterwards, we'll have our FAQ, our Q&A. So if you submitted a question before the event, I'll read those out, but you should also see a button either at the top or the bottom of your screen that says Q&A. So as we go through the presentation, if you have questions, if things pop up in your head and you're like, I really am curious about this, I want to know this about transportation at Richmond County, you can click on that button, include your question, and at the end, we'll read those aloud. So without further ado, I want to introduce our guests that will be driving today's presentation. First, we have Mr. William Kurtz, who's our Senior Director of Transportation. He's joined in his office, if you can see him in there, Will Smith, our Assistant Director of Transportation, and then Tracy Patterson, who's another Assistant Director of Transportation. Say hi, guys. All right. I'm going to let you take it away from here if you're ready to go, Mr. Kurtz. You have anything you want to say before we begin?
Well, good morning. We're excited to be a part of the town hall this afternoon to kind of give you a little bit of insight about transportation, how things work, and some of the things in the direction that we're trying to head. But first, I'd like to give an opportunity to some of my staff to say hello. First, I'll start with Tracy, the Director of Transportation. Tracy, go ahead and take the show.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Glad to be here. Very excited about this platform. Love working with my employees and coworkers. Just want to say we're excited about our job fair that's going to happen tomorrow afternoon from 3 to 6. Please come out. We have a quick, short application process. We will have some really small gifts to give away and some refreshments because we know it's the end of the day and some of us may not have had anything to snack on since lunch. Won't be a lot, but we're looking forward to working with you and getting you through the process really quick and easy. Thank you.
All right. Who knew this was a twofer event, a recruitment event and a transportation town hall?
Right. Will?
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Will Smith, Assistant Director of Transportation. I'm glad to be here. And we have a great team of leaders and staff here at Transportation, and I really enjoy working in this department.
Thank you, Will. And again, I'm Bill Kurtz. I'm the Senior Director of Transportation, and I've been in the transportation industry a long time, working my way up from a bus driver into the director position. Seen a lot of ebbs and flows, those types of things, and of course, a lot of changes and more regulations and so on and so forth. But ironically, I guess I got my transportation blood when I used to ride the bus to first grade, and I'm going to age myself here, but back then you only had one heater on the bus, and that's where the driver drove. And of course, today there's no way in the world we could do this or allow this, but I was the person who activated the stop arm during the wintertime. So I got to sit on the heater and the driver would look at me and I'd hit that button and the stop arm would come out. And of course, I sat in a warm spot where everybody else on the bus was kind of chilly back then. Again, there's no way to do that now. Do not condone it. Do not authorize it. It's just how things were back then and compared to now. But I've been around buses, I guess, all my life and really enjoy it and have a passion for it.
Yeah, I think some of my earliest memories from school is being on the bus, really thinking about who you were assigned to sit next to that really defined your social life in those hours sometimes after school. I was in a rural district, so sometimes it took us about an hour, hour and a half to drive home on the bus. So you really got to know all those kids on that bus and your bus driver. So I believe you have a presentation for us. Is that right, Mr. Kurtz? You ready to go?
That's correct. Yeah, we can
All
go.
right.
Some of our departmental goals for transportation for this year, we want to improve our customer service, both external and internal. This is very important to us to make sure that we're communicating properly with our external customers, which are students, to schools, parents, guardians, any other end users that we may have, and of course, then to our internal customers, which are our staff. So we want to improve our customer service and dispatch contacts with timeliness of calls, meaning when individuals call in needing information, we're able to get to them as quickly as possible and try to get the answer as quick as possible to them. If not, not to leave them on hold, but try to get back with them at another time, get the information and give them a call back. The other thing we have is our Let's Talk, which is a district initiative. We want to improve our Let's Talk and interactions that we have. Uh, Sadly, there have been some long response times when we do get Let's Talk. We want to make sure that we're getting those taken care of in a very timely manner because we do have some issues that are very, very important, and we'll make sure we get those addressed as quickly as possible. And then also we want to improve our departmental entries for our route notifications with our Stop Finder app. Stop Finder app is obviously an app that is utilized for parents to be able to find out where their bus is. We're making sure that we have our entries, working to make sure they have those entries accurate and in a timely manner to where it's useful for the end user, which is the parent and or the child sometimes. And then also to make sure that we get those route notifications in when there might be an issue or a delay to where those parents were receiving those in a timely manner. And then next, to improve our internal communications with the department, meaning our customer service, dispatchers, drivers, and staff, making sure everybody is well aware of what their expectations are, how we want to work with ourselves and also our external customers, and then also working with knowing what our expectations are for the overall year to make sure that we're meeting our goals and meeting the goals and needs of our end users, which are our students, schools, and the parents. Next, we want to improve our on-time route performance by at least 5%. We've had issues with buses being delayed, and we're working diligently to improve our on-time route performance. This is a daily process, and we're seeing some results, but we want to be better. And then lastly, improve our school bus safety, which we'll talk about later on another slide. In our routing, this past spring of last school year, we implemented a bus driver registration. However, the participant registration was not enough to be successful. However, we did use our no responses to remove those students from when we created our routing for this particular school year, meaning we did not route students who did not ride the bus or said no. We also did route students who do not ride the bus, which causes us to be inefficient. We do plan on having another bus driver or bus rider registration for the spring of 26-27 school year. We are already in the process of working on ways to make this registration process a lot easier for the end user, which are our parents that have to put that information in. And then we can get better results to make our routing even better and more efficient and more on time. We also have our Stop Finder app. Stop Finder app is a very critical part of our routing program, and this is what the parents use. We've been performing extensive testing within the application. Currently, we have 5,346 users of the app. Last week, the app itself, with the issues that we have, sent out 18,626 notifications. Now, that did not mean that those users all got 18,000. It was very specific to someone's individual route. So it kind of looks a little bit skewed, but overall, the app itself sent that number of notifications out. Issues that we're finding, the need to enter the substitute bus number to ensure accuracy. One, that needs to be done early to where the parents receive it in time. And second, we need to make sure that we enter the right number and not transpose a number or be one digit off or something like that. It's very critical to be accurate. We also need to use our turn-by-turn directions, which will provide better notifications. Our turn-by-turn directions will give the parents an estimate of how long the bus will be to get to their particular stop. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, what have you, but it gives them that notification. The transportation team identified the need to check the data to make sure the data that's going in, we have checks and balances to make sure that it is accurate. We did notice that we have a few users who opted out of receiving notifications. And sadly, what that means is they have the app, but those few people then have to do everything manually to find the information, whereas the notifications takes a lot of that manual use of the app out. So if they had the notification set, they'd receive a notification. We had to change a bus if there was a breakdown or something like that. Also, we found out just a few users had an email address that is different than what we have at our Infinite campus. And what happens there, if somebody gets in the app and they change the address different from what's an Infinite campus, they'll receive notifications for that particular day. But every night, everything is updated. So when that occurs, the next day, they won't receive anything because the communication link between Infinite Campus and the Stop Finder app is that email in Infinite Campus. So we'd like users to ensure or make sure that they have the correct address to make sure they're getting those notifications. Steps we're also taking to correct. We are working on retraining transportation staff and our dispatch, customer service, our lead drivers and drivers to make sure that we're putting in accurate information, doing it on a timely basis. And then we're also working on an improved quick service guide for users. The company that we use this is, we do have an online video. It's roughly about 5 minutes, but we're looking for something that could speed up that process. We'll still leave the video in place for individuals who don't want to watch it. It does give a lot of great information, but we want to make sure that they have something that's very quick for them to get going in the app, because we know everybody's time is extremely valuable. The next thing is we're also rolling out a new bus discipline app for the bus drivers to utilize and our schools. We have conducted demos with select schools and are currently in the process adding the remainder of our schools. The particular discipline app is to improve communications between the driver and the school and the outcome and timely notification of the action taken by the school for the student. In the past, this was done by paper, and every now and then, some drivers may not receive notification in time that whatever disciplinary action was taken with a particular student. So this does also remove paper forms. So we're being environmentally friendly here and also making sure we get things done faster. We're able to utilize the tablets that we currently use on the school bus by adding this app to the tablet. And the goal is to improve accuracy and response time for issues which happen on the bus. The next area we want to work on is school bus safety. We are improving our safety record this particular school year. To date, we've had fewer accidents than we've had in the past. We've had a few accidents this year that are directly related to school bus discipline on the bus, meaning a discipline behavior, a discipline issue on the bus was the contributing factor for a bus accident. So we're asking parents to please speak with the children concerning safety on the school bus and maintaining proper discipline. This ensures their safety, the driver's safety, everybody else's safety, because we want safe drives for everybody. That's all we have on the presentation. Do we have any questions or?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kurtz. So now we're getting into Q&A. We actually have one more leader here that's joined us from our senior team, Mr. Marcus Allen, our Deputy Superintendent of Operations and Administrative Services. So, hi there, Mr. Allen. Thanks for joining us. As we ask questions, we'll just see who wants to jump in and kind of go from there. But first question that I'm kind of seeing is we talked a little bit about Stop Finder, about that app, and about the user. So I'm curious, can we walk through the process of actually downloading it, what it looks like for a parent if they want to get access to that information and that turn-by-turn updates about their child's bus? Where can they go?
Yeah, they can email our department. They can also call or use the Let's Talk to request the app. When they do that, we do verify their email address they provide is in the Infinite Campus system. Once that has occurred, an invite is sent. And then the invite has a passcode that they would enter to download the app on their phone or tablet. And then from there, they would go ahead and, like accept notifications, those types of things, set up their preferences within the app.
Okay, that makes sense. And I think if you it's offered on Android and Apple devices. So it doesn't matter what
Right.
kind of user you are, you probably want to access it on your phone because that's the best way and quickest way to find that information. And if you visit our website at rcboe.org/stopfinder, it'll take you straight to a link to download that on your device. So another question I'm seeing here, so for those children, perhaps the child goes to mom's house on Monday and dad's house on Tuesday, and they're going to different places at on different days of the week for the bus. What is the process, and where should families go to ensure that their child ends up at the right place and the right time of day at the right time?
Ms. Patterson, you want to take that one?
I sure will. We have that scenario at times. It doesn't happen a lot, but usually on the weekends, when the student is going to stay at another relative's home. So what happens is the parent gets in touch with the school administrator. The principal or AP has to approve it first, and then they give the student like a bus pass. And they'll contact us as well to let us know that that student will be riding home with this particular student, that everything has been verified, and they have the documentation with them to show to the driver. On Monday morning, if that student is going back to school with the rider, then they have that bus pass that is good to that Monday to take them back to school. So that's how we go by approval with them riding to a different location. It has to be communication between the parent and school administrators. Then we get the approval from the AP or the principal, and then our driver knows that it's okay to transfer.
Okay, good. So there's a lot of checks and balances in between, and really it's driven by the parent notifying the primary guardian. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay. My next question here. So we are actually, might be good timing for this. Tomorrow, Wednesday, October 29th, we are having our first early release day that's primarily for our elementary schools and Freedom Park. Early release meaning that the bus schedules are going to look a little bit different. So knowing this, can we talk a little bit about our tiered schedule? What does that mean? And how is that going to be changing tomorrow for early release?
Well, with our tiered schedule, what it's going to do is affect elementary only. What will happen is for our elementary schools, tier 1 will let out at noon, tier 2 will let out at 12:45. And this is both for regular ed and for special needs. Our middle and high school levels will not be affected. And the good thing is they'll be done with doing those early release in time for tier 1 normal dismissal, for at that time would be just high schools only. So
Okay.
all we're doing is having a little bit longer afternoon with our buses running. They'll be a little more spread out, but also with moving those elementary tiers early, we should have a little bit quicker service tomorrow afternoon with getting the rest of the tiers home,
Okay.
middle and high school.
That makes sense. So they'll still get their same bus driver, same route. They can still check the same route on Stop Finder, but it's an earlier time.
Pretty,
for that.
pretty much. Sped might be slightly different. And Ms. Patterson?
Oh, okay. Yes, with the sped routes and the modified days, those schedules have been communicated between the area superintendents and they're communicated that information to the parents. So some of our programs might get out slightly earlier. That way we can make it to the first and second tier. And I'm
Yeah.
talking about the college school. They may get out a little early. But what I wanted to just kind of stress, the real important part is when our parents uh, may have forgotten that it's early release. We do have problems when we have to deliver to students and there's no one there to receive them, especially our students that are under the age of 9. So what we do on the transportation end, we do our due diligence and we will reach out to that parent, getting the telephone numbers from Infinite Campus or the emergency contacts, and we try to do everything possible before we take the student back to school because we know that that's a great inconvenience. So we want the parents to know that, they may be off a few minutes or may have forgotten, but we're going to do our best to reach out to them and get in touch with them just to see approximately what time they'll be coming to the home, or do they want us to take the student back to school? Sometimes it's more convenient to just take them back, but we do take that extra step to make sure that we try to contact them before we take them back to school.
And most important, especially for our little ones in those early elementary school grades, we never just drop them off. Always have to make sure they have a receiving adult, so that they are transported and we can see that they're transported home safely. Um, Something else to note, talking about early release, if you're not going to be doing a parent-teacher conference at that time, or you need your child to come home on the bus, you can find a full early release schedule on our academic calendar page on our district website. So that is www.rcboe.org/calendar. So if you don't know what tier you are at the top of your head, you can visit that webpage and it shows every single school and what their early release time is. So another kind of switching gears a little bit, my next question for you guys. So you did address some of the delays that we have, and there's a lot of different reasons why a bus can be delayed or why a schedule can be delayed. So thinking about transportation delays and bus schedule delays, um, why has our board not contracted with the company or a third party? Have we considered before contracting a third party company to provide transportation services to help with on-time delivery? Maybe Mr. Kurtz and Mr. Allen can address that question.
Mr. Allen, you want to go first?
Hey, yes, sir. Thank you. Really, the primary, we have thought about that as well. I'll tell you, there are really two things. We do value the current drivers that we have. We want to make sure we invest deeply in those who have been committed to our community beyond the moment as well. But when there is a need, we have looked into that. But there is a huge insurance liability concern. It's really hard to get coverage for things that could potentially happen on a bus. And so while it's been looked into, it really is not really best first for our community and those who currently drive. But secondly, it's not fiscally responsible for the district, as we haven't been able to find a supporter for that. And Mr. Kurtzman may be able to add more.
Yeah, I concur. The fiscal responsive part, normally when you get into a contract transportation situation, you end up spending roughly about 4 to 5 times the amount of money than you would by doing it in-house. A lot of it depends upon the size of the operation. We're a little bit larger operation. There have been some districts before that have done this, and then they've gone back to doing it themselves because of the cost.
So really, we're, in terms of solutions, focusing on retaining really high quality drivers, improving our retention policies, our recruitment efforts, and Ms. Patterson just talked about our next job fair, and also internally improving our processes to increase that, or I would say decrease the amount of time it takes from pickup to drop off and things like that. Is that right? Okay. So Let's talk a little bit about bus driver retention then. Ms. Patterson, maybe you can kind of take this question. What kinds of things are you looking for in a driver, and what efforts has the department made to help improve recruitment and retention of really high quality drivers to ensure that every bus has a driver and every route is covered?
Okay, so the first thing we've done is we make sure that we have a great routing system that can put our driving our routes in a good perspective so our students can get to school on time and home. We also have a new discipline write-up form that's in place for those students that may have a hard time when it comes to seating on the bus and, talking and keeping the bus safe. So we have measures in place so that it'll make the driver's job a whole lot easier when it comes to communicating with school administrators. And it's all, not just negative. We have positive items that we have in place. We have made our work area for the drivers a very pleasant and comfortable place to come to in the mornings and in the afternoons. We did a facelift on our previous driver's lounge. Well, it was like the terminal, and now they have a lounge. And they really have been enjoying this area. They come to work, they have a place to kind of take a break and relax between routes where they don't have to go home and travel back. So that keeps our drivers at work. And if there's extra routes to cover in the midday, they keep the radio on in the lounge and they're ready to take off and go. So that's helped a lot. When our drivers are able to come to work, because some of them do have legitimate reasons that they are away, they do work together hand in hand to help take the load off of one person. So it's almost like it is a team effort, and it's almost like a family effort. Our goal is to get our students to and from school safely, and it takes the entire team to make that happen. So when they have that support, that motivates them to come to work to get the job done. So we also have a team that we call the DAC. We call it the Drivers Advisory, well, Directors Advisory Committee. It has really taken off, and it brings a whole lot of positivity to the department. And that consists of different drivers and attendants from each cluster area that is pretty much the voice for their area. And they really have been doing some really good things to bring positivity to the workplace for retention purposes.
No, I like that. I like how you're kind of emphasizing building a culture where our bus drivers feel like they're heard, where they feel like they can do their best work, in addition to, comprehensive benefits, competitive pay, things like that. And we train them in-house, isn't that right? So you can
Yeah,
join us
we do all
tomorrow.
the
Yes, we
training
do.
in-house.
Yes.
So I want to talk, we're kind of coming up on time, but I have two more questions here. Let's talk about discipline or instances where students are misbehaving on the bus or perhaps mistreating each other on the bus. If a child, say, gets in a fight or experiences bullying or has some kind of verbal altercation with another student on the bus, how can a parent go about getting that resolved? Who should they go to?
Yeah, well, I'll start with that question as well, and then Ms. Patterson can probably follow up. My first response is if there's something that's major happening on the bus driver's first responsibility is to try and get to a safe space as well. And so we talk about a team effort. We really want to make sure our parents know and our school staff that riding the bus is obviously a privilege. And so safety is the number one thing. So if there is an issue, the first thing the driver is going to do is try to get to a safe space as well. If something happens that's minor on the bus, the student, when they get home, of course, if they speak with their parent, that parent can go to Sprigio, which is the bullying forum on all of our websites, school websites, also the district website as well. They can submit that concern there, and it goes to all school administration. It goes to assistant superintendent, admin assistant. It goes to our mental health counselors. It goes to myself. And so we have a chance to be able to support there. And then also contacting their principal the very next day or sending an email
No, I hear that. So, I mean, really, and there's a way to do it anonymously too. So, if you have a concern on the bus and you want that individual contact with
Uh-oh.
the department, um, then you can either do it anonymously or you can talk directly and have your address concern very quickly. But important to know that really on the bus, we're focused on keeping our students safe. And then, especially if it's recurring issues, utilizing those channels to address it properly to make sure that your student also has a safe and easy ride back home. Anything else we wanted to add on that? Okay.
I can add to that. We also have a great video system, a recording system that's in place. And as soon as the altercation happens or the disruption, the driver calls in a request for us to catch the footage right then and there. The next step we do once we download the footage is send it directly to school administrators because they are the ones that promote the discipline for the student. Also, when it comes to being proactive to avoid bullying, because bullying happens on the school buses, in the hallways, and in the restrooms. That's the highest areas of bullying. So we start out by setting up assigned seats for our students, whereas our younger grade students, they sit in the front. We kind of separate them by ladies on one side, young gentlemen on the other. Siblings can sit together, but it protects our little ones from the older students that may want to probably try to um, slightly bully somebody. So
Right.
we keep the separation in place, and it kind of keeps down. Plus, it gives the student a sense of ownership when they get on the bus. So they know that this is my area and this is my seating buddy. Usually that follows them when all of our drivers are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. If they have to get on a substitute bus, they kind of keep in mind, this is my assigned seat. So they pretty much sit in the same area. It helps keeps down bullying
Yeah.
and vices.
Establishes that routine too for the student. This is my space, don't get into my space. Helps them develop that accountability. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I have one more question here before we hop off for the evening. Maybe not quite transportation related, but it's from the people and we have to answer it. So here is our last question. Are there back to school workshops for parents to learn how to navigate software on the devices sent home with students and best ways to support learn from home and other educational needs? So this maybe kind of relates to transportation and that we want all of our parents to be aware of the different types of software that we use to communicate with them every single day. So whether it's Stop Finder or the Infinite Campus Parent Portal, I would start there. Are you aware of the Infinite Campus Parent Portal? Do you know how to use it? If you don't, we actually have an Infinite Campus Parent Portal course for parents. If you go to rcboe.org/parent portal. It'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to make sure you're utilizing that task. In terms of learn from home and making sure that you're able to best support your child in their virtual classroom at home on those learn from home days, start by communicating with your child's teacher. So, if they have certain assignments on Canvas, I think there's also some resources for parents about Canvas on our website. I'll put that up on our virtual town hall page as a resource after this meeting. But ask them, hey, what's on the docket for this Learn from Home Day? What kind of assignments are they going to be having? What should I look out for our students during those days? On our Learn from Home days, they can also utilize, take part in virtual tutoring. We offer 2 free virtual tutoring services through the Richmond County school system. One is called Georgia Tutors for our older learners, K through 12. And we also do, what is it called? It's called Varsity Tutors. That's another free virtual one-on-one tutoring platform as well. That information is on our website, and that's something that you can do during those Learn from Home days. And lastly, I would say just have conversations with your children. Read with them, especially our early learners. Take that time to read some stories with them, and continue to engage in that communication with parents. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to add on learn from home and software and things like that? All right. Well, with that being said, please join our transportation department tomorrow uh, from 3 to 6. Is that right, Tracy? At the transportation headquarters over at Mike
Right.
Paget Highway.
Yes, ma'am.
Join a really amazing team of really dedicated bus drivers and dispatchers, mechanics, all sorts of positions within the transportation department. And again, download that Stop Finder Bus app. Communicate and get to know your bus driver too. Introduce yourself to your child's bus driver. And we'll continue to work on improving safety, security for all of our students every day, whether they're going to school on the bus or going on a field trip, whatever that looks like. So I want to thank you guys for your time. Thank you for joining me tonight. And
Yeah.
we will see you next time at our next virtual town hall.